N.U.B.Y. N.U.B.Y.net.
Any of the thoughts and opinions shared on this podcast belong solely to the members of the cast. This is not a reflection of the school districts and companies who employ us. These are just our thoughts and views and aren't intended for anything further than the entertainment and information for our viewers and listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Lunch Break Podcast with your host, J Love, aka Mr. Love. And today I got a very special guest here with me. You might remember her from the original N.U.B.Y World Academy podcast. I got Dr. Jeannette Russell having lunch with us today. Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Things are going well. What about you?
Man, I can't complain at all. Doc, what you got for lunch today?
You know what? I had a late breakfast, so right now I'm just drinking tea.
There you go. Hey, I'm bare minimum myself, man. I got my bottled water and some Nature Valley. Got some fruit snacks over there. I'm just trying, I'm working on my summer physique too at the same time. So I got to get it together, man. I definitely got to get it together. Now, Dot, I know we had you on the pod before and you might have touched on this, but what is your current role right now?
Right now I am a customer success manager for an educational technology company. So
okay.
I'm in this implementation role. You want me to give you a little detail? Do you know what that means? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
I was trying to brainstorm what it might mean so I could follow it up. But no, what does that look like and what's like a typical day?
So I work with a company. The name of the company is Lexia Learning. So a typical day for me would be working with school leaders, administrators, principals, coaches, and working with them on their implementation of our literacy solutions, our programs that we have to offer. So a typical day would probably be it depends on the time of the school year too. So if it's the beginning of the year and we're setting up implementations and creating goals, the beginning of the school year is very busy. So I could have maybe about four external meetings in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then in there, I may have some internal meetings, but then I do have time blocked in my calendar to work on like the follow-up notes, sending emails, answering emails. So each day pretty much can be different, but some days, most of the time, it's pretty much the same. But I do work from home now, which is great. So that part is pretty flexible. But I'm
Okay.
just loving what I do right now.
Okay, so now we got to do some time traveling, Doc. We got to see how do we get here. So let's go back to before we go to what made the decision to step out of just the traditional classroom or education itself. What was your journey into getting into education? Take us back to the Shy. Is that where we start, or are we starting at Marquette? Where are we starting at?
Well, let's start at Marquette because I did not originally major in education. I was a biomedical sciences major, and that ranged from anything in health sciences, the medical field, and all of that. But then when I moved back home to the Chicago area, I'm like, okay, after I graduated from Marquette, I was thinking like, okay, what can I do? So I come from a family of educators on my dad's side. So I think the pastor of my church was like, why don't you just do substitute teaching until you find out what you want to do? So I was a substitute teacher for about a year. And then I decided to get a master's in education, in elementary education, and ended up becoming a teacher in the Chicago suburbs. So as soon as I finished my master's, while I was working on my master's, I was working at a K-4 school in Chicago, and that was at a charter school. And that was like in 2003. I was a paraprofessional in 2003 at a school right on 55th and Garfield, if you know what that is. And
I don't know. I feel like I heard that in a Lil Durk song or something.
Maybe, I don't know. So then after that, while I was working there, I got my master's, and then I was able to get my own classroom after the licenses and all of that. So I started working at a school in the Chicago suburbs. I worked there for 2 years, and then I went to CPS, Chicago Public Schools, and I was there for about 7 years until I moved to Milwaukee after I got married. So I was working in Milwaukee charter schools, and then Milwaukee Public Schools, and then after that, I was always thinking, like, teaching isn't gonna be my final career. I always knew that, like, I was not going to be a classroom teacher forever, and Mr. Love, you know me, I never stayed in the same grade level for
Mhm.
more than 2 years. You know, I bounced
Right.
around from
Mhm.
7th grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, K-4, 5th grade, 4th grade, so I was just all over the place. I was even a high school English teacher at some point,
Yep, yep,
um,
yep.
and then I finished off in 2020 when I decided to leave the, um, well, not classroom, I was an instructional coach at a school in NPS on the South Side. Well, it's called a school support teacher, but I
Mhm.
equate it to being a instructional coach. But yeah, and that was in 2020, and that was the last time that I stepped foot in a school.
Alright, so going back to when you got married and you moved from the side of Milwaukee, what was the comparison of teaching, inner city Chicago, so in CPS compared to MPS, to Milwaukee Public Schools, like, with the students, would it be, like, the same dynamics, or would you say one was tougher than the other?
I think it was I think it's the same dynamic. I don't think it was a real huge difference between the population I served. Um, I think there were a lot of politics involved in NPS and with CPS. I mean, with any
Mhm.
large school district, there's a lot behind the scenes that goes on. But you know, as a classroom teacher, you just pretty much stay in your classroom and do what you can do for your kids. So,
Yep,
but
yep.
it was pretty much the same.
And so I met you shortly after you came to Milwaukee because we worked at Young Leaders Academy together. That was around 2010, 2011. And you were, I think, a seventh grade teacher when I was teaching first grade. I think. And then I think I moved grades and then I went up to fifth and you went down to first and I came back to first or something like that. We ended up back in
Mhm.
first at the same time. And from there, we
Right,
went to Universal Academy at the same time. And I think we both got out of the classroom, I want to say in the same year. So when I became a dean of students, you became an instructional coach. So we kind of did
right.
that at the same time. And then with all the budget stuff, you ended up going. I ended up losing my admin spot. And then you got back. And then you was so we all got crisscrossed at that time before MPS ended up taking over our charter. And you said that you ended up going to MPS and you were there till you said 2020?
Right, 2020, and remember the COVID closure, the school closure?
Yep.
We closed March of 2020. Everyone was working from home,
Mhm.
um, and during that time, I was really considering, "Okay, I need to make a move. This would be a good time to make a move." So I was pretty much interviewing during that COVID closure to go somewhere else in the fall. So I was interviewing
Mhm.
in, like, Illinois, um I don't know what I was thinking when I was trying to interview in different states and while living in Wisconsin. Um, but I was just interested in other roles.
Mhm.
I was just interested in doing something different because I just knew that I wasn't gonna be in a school for long. And if I
See,
do
and
end
I
up back in school, that's fine,
mhm.
but I just knew in 2020 it was time for me to go somewhere else.
And I think that was a big time for reflection for everybody because I interviewed during COVID as well. I ended up switching schools and from COVID. I
Mhm.
went from Milwaukee Academy of Science to the Brown Deer, where I met another one, our past host, Mr. Griffin. But
Okay.
that interview time was crazy interviewing at home because I think I never did virtual interviews at all before that time period. So I can remember that like yesterday, putting on shirts and ties and stuff and having on basketball shorts, sitting in front of computers and meeting people that you never met before across the computer and answering questions. So that was a big time to reflect. I think as a whole for our family too, because I think once you at home and you like just stuck there, you have nothing but time to reflect on what's working in your life, what's not working, what changes you need to make. So, Doc, when you made that final decision, I know you said you were interviewing that time. So, what was the final decision maker when you said, "All right, I'm ready to take on this new role and step out of the traditional education environment"?
So, you know what? I wasn't looking for Lexia. Lexia was actually looking for me in a sense.
Okay.
So, my best friend, we share a mutual friend. So, my best friend has a friend that I know as well, and we all went to Marquette together. And over the summer, during the summer of 2020, she was in town, and I think, she was in town one weekend, and she was talking to my best friend. She said, "Well, does Jeanette still work in a school? Do you think she'll be interested in stepping outside of that role and going into something completely different?" And I told my best friend, I said, "Yeah, tell her to give me a call. Let's talk. Let's see what, uh, this company is all about." And so we had a great conversation, and she said, "Well, let's have you interview for this role because we are definitely looking for customer success managers, and we're looking to expand because education is going into a whole new direction, as we know, with AI and with educational technology. And schools we're looking to definitely boost literacy scores. And Lexia has been around for over 40 years, but I have never heard of it. I've heard of like
Mhm.
companies like iReady, IXL, Dreambox, Zern,
Yep.
um, but I've never heard of Lexia. And so I'm like, how come this company is hiring? And if they're doing so well, how come I've never heard of them? But after doing my own research and after talking to my a friend about it, the one that approached me, and I had some great questions and follow-up questions to ask during that interview, I said, "Well, why not? Why not try something different, and step out of my comfort zone?" Because as educators and as teachers, we sometimes get so safe and secure being in the classroom. We know we will always have a job in the education sector in a building. Why not try something else? And that's what I talk to my UW Whitewater students about. Even though you're in the education field, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a classroom teacher. Being a classroom teacher
Mhm.
for maybe 1, 2, 3 years, that's definitely going to help, but if you say, "Okay, this isn't for me," you have other avenues to venture off into. You don't have to necessarily stay and be a classroom teacher. So instead of being feeling like, "Okay, I'm safe here," I actually wanted to try something new and try something different, and I never looked back.
That's cool, and it take a lot of courage and the right support circle. So I'm sure the family at home was all rallying behind you as you made that big change. So definitely, that's it is good looking back, seeing that it was successful in a sense
Mhm.
because it could have been a bad decision and things like that. But from the looks of things and what now it's been what 5 6 years. So something like that, I would say it's been going well if it's going strong. So that's cool. So now I want you to still jump back again. So let's go back to classroom, Dr. Russell. I need you to share with us a memorable experience that you had with a parent.
Do you want a funny, memorable experience or a serious
Yes,
one? You want a
either or.
funny
You can
one?
go funny or funny. It might be funny and serious.
And I
It
only
can be
wanna
both.
I only wanna share this experience because when I share it with other people, they don't believe me. They don't think it really
Mhm.
happened, but you were a witness and you were there, and when I tell
Okay.
the story, I always say I got a witness, and I'm serious. This actually happened. So we were I think it was parent teacher conferences, and you and I, we were between parents or something like that. We didn't have anyone on our schedule to come in. So
Mhm.
you came to my classroom and we were just talking about lessons and talking about the next day and what we had planned. And all of a sudden I had this parent show up that wasn't on my schedule. And I've been trying to get in contact with this parent for a while. And she has her daughter is so sweet, very sweet girl that was in my classroom, and her mom wanted me to complete paperwork to say that her daughter had ADHD, which wasn't true. So her daughter would come in and do like this. She would just act out, and it wasn't really like her daughter. She doesn't typically act
Right.
out, but she acting out because I know someone was telling her to do so.
Mhm.
And I don't feel that everything that you're saying about your child is a reflection of how I see her in the classroom. And I guess the mom didn't really like that story. And so she came to see me during parent teacher conferences, and she didn't schedule the appointment or anything, and she showed up to the classroom door. Do you remember, Mr. Love, what she was wearing that day?
Yeah.
She had on a full 1980s aerobic outfit with the tights, the
Uh,
leotard, the scrunchy socks, and the, like, Reebok tennis shoes. And I
she
think
was
was it a
there.
bright colored leotard.
Yeah, she was looking like Ultimate Warrior from
Yes, she
wrestling.
was looking like the ultimate warrior, and I was like and she showed up to the door, and she kept saying, I can't remember what she was said because she wanted it was like a really she was being very confrontational.
Uh-huh.
And when we looked over at you, Mr. Love, you just had your head down. And I'm like, "You're not gonna are you gonna look up and say something? Are you gonna say, like" because she was really coming after me because I didn't complete that paperwork for her. She needed to get it back to the doctor as soon as possible, and I told her I couldn't complete it if this wasn't a true reflection of her child. And she just went in on me with this whole I don't know if she was looking for she had to be looking for a fight. I don't know, but she
Uh-huh.
came that whole leotard outfit on, and I said, "What made her leave, Mr. Love? Did you actually" I think I
Uh,
kinda, like, calmed the situation down, and then she
yeah.
finally
I think you talked once she kinda knew that you wasn't budging, she kinda, like, cooled herself off, and also once you kinda stood your ground, and like you said, you could tell she was looking for, a confrontation, and once you wasn't giving her that same energy, I think she kinda felt silly because it was like she came dressed to wrestle, like, dressed to fight or do something because she had on the full.
it wasn't Halloween, it
Yeah, no, it
wasn't
wasn't. It was
a special occasion, she wasn't coming from aerobics class, she wasn't coming from, like, a workout class. She just had on a full like, the pink leggings, like a purple
Mhm.
leotard, the
Yep.
socks, the box. I don't remember how she had her hair, but she was ready.
Yeah, she definitely wanted some action, man, and when you didn't give it back to her, I think she kinda felt like, "Man, what am I
And
doing?"
that whole time, you sat there laughing like this. That whole time you didn't look up until she left the room.
I w I wouldn't have let her put hands on you. Well, I mean, you wouldn't have let her either, but I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe that was happening, like, it
So that's a
man.
that I mean, I have memorable moments, but that's, like, that tops it, like, no one would believe me if you weren't there to vouch
No,
for
that's
me.
that's no, that's all facts right there. That's
Like, who does that? Like,
dude, that and I'm trying to think, it was another funny moment and you was there, oh, no, this is man, it might have been a PD day when we was at YLA. Remember we went to, Popeyes?
I was pregnant that
And they had the ad out for that new it was called Rippin' Chicken, and all it was like 3 or 4 chicken tenders, like, stuck together that you break apart or rip apart, and, it was me, you, I think Rev was with us,
mhm,
Reverend Williams was with us, and maybe Mr. Riley.
right.
and we we got up to the counter, and I don't know if somebody asked or was like, "Man, I'm thinking about getting that ripping chicken," and the lady was like, "Ain't no ripping chicken in the house tonight." What? Dude, I
That's
don't know why I remember that moment.
because they didn't have any chicken. We were like, "Okay." We had Popeyes and they don't have any chicken. But that's
Dude.
why I always usually bring my lunch. And I don't
Uh-huh.
know with you all and it had to be because I was pregnant and I was probably having a craving. That was the only reason I went
Dude,
to Popeyes.
dude,
I don't
that's
fool
funny because yeah, you never used to come with us for lunch. Like
mm-mm,
all the years we worked together, I would leave for lunch and bring it back and eat it at school, and you would already be like in the middle of your lunch because you brought it with you every time.
mhm. I did not go out and spend money for lunch. I got
Oh man. She
no.
was with it. She said, "Ain't no ripping chicken in the house tonight." And it wasn't even nighttime. It was
In the middle of the day.
right, it
Like
was like
11
11 o'clock. Right. Like how y'all out of chicken this early? Y'all only been open an hour.
right, right. That's
Oh
when we should
man.
have left. We should have turned around and went somewhere else.
Oh man. Okay, so we talked about the wrestler that came to see you. We talked about your journey. We compared it to the shine, the meal. My last question before we get into rapid fire is like you've dedicated a lot of your time and education and even now into around the concept of literacy and student literacy. Do you have any keys that can help improve literacy that you could share, whether it's a parent working with their kid or whether it's educators working with their students? Any keys to improve student literacy that you could share?
One one key that I've been really focusing in on are students who may not be reading where they should be at this point. So, for example, if I have 2 second graders at home. If I'm noticing that they're not reading at a grade level or understanding skills that are typically taught at that grade, then I know I need to intervene and find out where's that skill deficit and where they're lacking. And if I'm a parent that don't have the resources, I need to find out where are some of those resources and how can I get support. And I would definitely lean on the school your child goes to, the classroom teacher. If you feel like that teacher it isn't knowledgeable in the area of literacy, find someone else. Ask questions. That's all you can do is definitely ask questions and know who your child is as a reader. Because if they definitely need the assistance now, you don't want to wait too late.
Oh, okay. Okay. And so now with that being said, we're gonna jump into our educator rapid fire. So I'm gonna give you a couple categories. And for some
Mhm.
of these, you might have to reflect back to when you was in the classroom, but I can't tell you the questions. You just gonna pick a category and then you get your questions. So the first category is classroom life, then it's teacher struggles, instruction and policies, teacher reality, or the lunch break special.
Let's do what was the first two?
Classroom life was the first one, and teacher struggles was the second one.
Let's do teacher reality.
Okay, teacher reality. All right. Oh, so yeah. Oh, this is a
You already
cakewalk for
did
you.
me
So we're
now. Did you make up these
man,
questions?
I can't give you my sources, man. I can't give you can't give you all my sources. So this is real quick. You don't got to think. It's just an either or, and it's real fast. It's like five of them. So teacher
Okay.
reality: Jeans Day or Mental Health Day?
Mental health day.
Smaller classes or higher pay?
Higher pay.
Respect or resources?
Respect.
Admin support or parent support?
Parent support.
Autonomy or structure?
Structure.
Passion or peace?
Peace.
There you go. See, I knew you wasn't gonna get stumbled or fumble on none of those. I was like, oh, Doc gonna kill these right here,
Now
man.
do one
And
more
with
category. Do one more
okay,
category.
what other one you want?
Um, teacher struggle.
All right, teacher struggles. All right, here we go again. Parent emails or parent conferences?
That's a tricky one. Cause you get more parents, you might get more information. I mean, you might get more feedback from an email or response, but conferences is sometimes hard to bring parents into a conference.
See, that's what you got to pick. Which one would you rather have?
I would say e-conference.
Well, I would have said emails. All
Conference.
right. Unexpected observations or surprise assemblies?
Unexpected observations. Unexpected observation.
All right. Repeating directions or repeating directions louder?
That's the same thing. Repeat directions.
All right. Copy your jam or the Wi-Fi down?
Copy your jam.
All right. Fire drills or lockdown drills?
Lockdown.
You rather a lockdown drill over a fire drill?
Yeah, because I don't if it's wintertime, I'm not going outside trying to gather all the kids and they freezing, like, we cold, can we grab our coat?"
I used to like getting up and leaving out.
No.
All right.
You only
It's
have
one
one kid
more.
stay with the group. Come on now, Mr.
Uh,
Love. You
all right. It's
chasing
one
kids
last.
while the other kid right here, your other group is right here.
Oh man. Okay. One last one. Cafeteria duty or bus duty?
Neither.
I go with bus duty, man. Shout out to the bus
Oh, yeah.
squad.
Or I go with cafeteria duty.
I don't like
Cafeteria duty
no cap
be maybe an
dude.
hour, depending on what you have time for, maybe 30 minutes.
Do you remember cafeteria duty when we first got to what was it, Lee with Universal?
Not really.
Dude. And it might have been after you left. Dude, I was down there serving lunch. Miss Parker was serving lunch. We was sweeping, like, dude, we had to do everything. We had to put the tables out. Like, our one little maintenance man, shout out to Lauro. He probably ain't gonna never see this, but Lauro didn't do nothing, man.
I remember that. I remember
We
that.
didn't come down there and the gym would just be empty. We had to go in there, slide tables out, busting them down, doing all that stuff. I mean, it was cool. We did a lot of team building during that, but I was like, dude, never did I ever have to set up the lunchroom and hand out food and clean the lunchroom after.
And put the lunch tables back.
Yeah, and then fold the lunch tables up so they could do gym. I was like, man, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I remember now. I do.
Dude, that was wild. Oh man, so Doc, you finished everything that I got for you today on this lunch break. You got anything going on? Any shot? And let me tell y'all, Doc is real modest because Doc is an author. She didn't even mention when she was at Marquette, she was a star athlete. That I think you still got some records there because we toured and she showed us the records that her and her twin sister set. She got track records. Doc is out here, man. She handling business out here. She's a UWM. She mentioned UW Whitewater. I mean, so she's a professor there too. So that got it going on.
I try. I do what I can.
Any shout outs or anything you want to mention before we wrap?
No shout outs. No. You know, I hate to put people on blast but shout out to you for everything that you're doing with the podcast and everything. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
Shout out to everyone.
I'm gonna try to have Doc on here more often too. I'm gonna try to get Doc on more of these in the afternoon because I think this is feasible for our new situations.
Yes, because I do block a lunch in my calendar. So even though I work from home, my schedule is kind of flexible, but I always still block a lunch, an actual lunch break in my.
There we go. We gonna make it happen. And with that being said, Doc, I gotta toast you. We do that on the lunch break. Where that tea at?
Right here.
Yep. There you go. Thank you for joining us today. And with that being said, it's been another great episode of the lunch break. We'll see you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe and share the video. And until next time, see you.
Like and subscribe. N.U.B.Y. N.U.B.Y.net.